And welcome back. This is the Press Box on 590 The Fan, KFNS. In our first hour, Aeneas Williams and Lawrence Baroni. We have Rick Majerus with us from the Billiken program after another great victory by SLU. 4 games in a row, they've overcome double-digit deficits to win a game. They got UMass on Sunday. Coach, before we get to some no-hedging questions, I want to ask you about some local kids. You got Josh Harrelson in Kentucky, you got Scott Suggs in Washington, and Tyler Griffey at Illinois. How heavily did you recruit those guys, and what about St. Louis in terms of your recruiting?
Well, you know, I couldn't have been more involved with Tyler and Scott and Josh. I mean, my staff and I thought we did a great job. I mean, we spent so much time with Josh and his mom, and his niece was the president of the student body at SLU. And, you know, first the thing about SLU is it's a great education. And Tyler and Scott were terrific students. You know, the best thing about SLU is the quality education that it has to offer, the very best thing. Secondly, you know, there's something to be said for coming out of the tunnel. Every game, Kyle makes a beeline to his mom and dad. And to have that, to share that, you know, like, you know, you've got a son, it means the world to you, you've got a great relationship within your family, and, you know, you can't beat that. I mean, I'm sitting here with Rachel Diener, my assistant, and Travis. I mean, she looks Travis up every night, her sister does, and, you know, their dad's a coach, their uncles are coaches, and, you know, so, you know, to share the experience with your family, how do you put a premium on that? So we tried to explain that to them. You know, look, now, you know,
because you can't go to the University of Washington if you're living in Washington, Missouri. You can't go to every game in Champaign, Illinois if you're here, I don't think, and you certainly can't go to Kentucky every game.
Yeah, and then, you know, are you going to live in those communities? Because when you come back here, you're just another guy. But if you had been a star for the Billikens, I mean, St. Louis is still relatively run on a lot of stratas. For example, Majerus is a St. Louis graduate by St. Louis U people. And but we wanted Tyler. We wish him well. He's a great kid, good student. We tried very, very hard for Suggs. I mean, I met with him and his dad innumerable times, and as I said, I can't tell you, I used up every single visit we had with Josh Harrelson. Went over to watch him practice on, you know, 4 or 5 occasions, you know, at least in the summer, and then we took every one of our allotted visits. You know, last year when Cal got the job, I asked Cal, I said, "Is Cal, he ain't going to play for you?" And he says, "I don't," but he said, "I need him in practice." And, you know, maybe Josh likes Kentucky, and good for him, you know, I mean, nothing against that.
What's your policy on transfers if a kid wanted to come back?
Well, I can't speak to that on the air, and I can't, you know, but
overall,
here's the whole deal. I mean, like, I've taken transfers on a selected basis. I haven't taken very many, but the thing about it is sometimes you get enamored with, oh, it's the Big Ten, you know, and I just use that like Cassie could have gone to the Big Ten, Kumain could have gone to the Big Ten, Kumain, Minnesota, Tubby came in real hard, but I don't know if that they would have been that good at the Big Ten because, you know, they're getting playing time and they have to assume, Cassie has to assume a role of leadership, he has to assume a role of stardom for us, and again, there's nothing like Delicious, who came over after every game, went to the suite, men or women, and the mom and dad cooked, and they all shared the experience of the game with their family. Now, you're not going to get that anywhere else but at home. That's what makes home so special. And you know, so, yeah, no, we tried. Our first and foremost commitment is the local kid. We tried hard after Beal. I mean, God bless him, and, you know, he's got a great mom and dad, and we wish him well. Billy's a good coach, and I think he'll have a fantastic future there. It isn't that we aren't trying hard.
And in the meantime, you pick up 2 kids from Chicago from the public league. How good are they, and what kind of impact can they have?
Well, the point guard is the best player in the public league. McCall, he's tough, and he has genuine toughness in an era in which there aren't that many tough players. The other day I was talking to him a month ago. He was getting up at 4:30 a.m. to take the city bus. He lives by Cabrini Green, which is, you know, it makes St. Louis public housing look like, you know, you're living in Ladue.
Okay.
And he's taking a bus to practice at 6 a.m. Plays for a real good coach there. Today he plays for the city championship. And, you know, when you win the city championship in Chicago, Illinois, there's 112 schools from Boys High, Boys Vocational, where Butkus went, where there's 7,000 students, to Lane Tech, where there's 5,000 students. and you know it's a killer league with great competition. He was runner-up in the most storied of all tournaments, the Proviso West tournament, and by the way, he got the State Farm Citizenship Player of the Year for involvement in his community, and has a 2.5 and 2.7 average with a very good board score. He's already set in and clearing the clearinghouse.
And how about Evans?
Evans is not from the public league. He's from Neuqua Valley. They're ranked 4th in the state. Mike McCall's team is ranked 2nd. Evans' sister is the captain and plays at Wash U here.
So it's an academic family, I guess. So they got a daughter going to Wash U.
Dad is getting his PhD, and his mom has her master's, and the young man has a 31 or 32 ACT. And he truly can. When I talked to him, the thing I told him about SLU is we talked about medical school, law school. He's one of those kids that could go to any. He's so gifted and he's so bright, and he's very, very mathematically oriented, aptitudinal wise, and he's also very literate. So the world's his oyster.
How good a player is he?
Really good athlete. So what we felt is we felt we needed a real good athlete. He's legitimate 6'5". He's an excellent rebounder. He's the kind of guy that we're seeing come in here every night and that we're having a nightmare with. Runner, rebounder, jumper, athlete, and he'll go great alongside John Smith. By the way, I'm very high on John Smith and Remican. I would like to get, and the staff is trying so hard to get to the position next year we could redshirt Corey for a year. The redshirt year we promised him this year, and then we'd have him for 3 more after that. And we feel if we can develop his skill level, I think the boy is growing. You know, and he's a hard worker. I'm very high on Remican and John Smith.